The boss of one of the region's most successful textiles firms says that he would still vote to leave the EU, despite a visit today from the man leading a campaign for Britain to stay in. The former Home Secretary, Alan Johnson, is touring the country to spread the Labour's pro-Europe message. This morning he visited a clothing firm in Alfreton, where the chief executive remains unconvinced by his arguments, as Mike O'Sullivan reports.
Your office is in Germany and Switzerland and France.
Alan Johnson on Europe, but even he couldn't convince the managing director of this fashion firm that the company would be better off staying in the EU. Mr Johnson visited the DavidNieper factory in Alfreton as head of Labour's In campaign.
Some of the issues that concern textiles will happen anyway in the European Union and will affect us whether we're in or out. The only difference is if we're out, just like Norway, just like Switzerland, just like Iceland, just like Liechtenstein, they trade with Europe, they pay to be members of to the European Union to trade, but they have absolutely no say in their regulations, and I think that's a very important part of us staying in.
DavidNieper employs around 250 people making high-quality women's wear. It exports around a third of its goods to Europe, France, Germany, Holland and Switzerland in the main. And believe it or not, it's EU regulations concerning things like the stepladder that convince this fashion firm that they're better off leaving Europe.
We have to have somebody who comes to check the stepladder every month. So they have to count the rungs. 1, 2, yes, it's still got 3 rungs. And then they fill in a form, tick a box and comply with another piece of EU legislation. Now for a business like us, this is about as useful as the laws about bendy carrots or straight bananas.
DavidNieper claims its customers in Europe would still buy its garments, even if Britain was outside the EU. And if Britain remains in, it claims small to medium-sized businesses have very little influence on EU regulations. Mike O'Sullivan, BBC East Midlands Today, Derbyshire.
On to football and a heavy defeat for Derby County tonight as they look to move up the championship table. They went down by 4 goals to 1 at promotion rivals Burnley, as Mark Shardley reports.